Hello, livestock friends, and welcome to this edition of Before the Bid. This is a podcast dedicated to the livestock sales industry where we go behind the scenes of the operation and speak straight to the sellers. We discuss topics about the important aspects of their operation, location, the people behind the prep work, and talk about some of the animals that will be offered to you, the prospective buyers. Hopefully, you've got your sale catalog close by. You might have to go look through that pile on your desk. But if not, then you're probably like me and driving down the road or busy with chores around the farm. And that's okay too. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy this segment of Before the Bid. I'm your host, Andy Howell. Welcome, livestock friends, to this edition of Before the Bid podcast. And on this podcast, we are going to talk about some cattle for this one. And we're going to talk to a family that has a sale coming up on Tuesday, March the 1st. That sale is going to be on Anguslive. And it is a family that, me personally, I have been able to be around here for the last couple years. And a family that is very, very hardworking in whatever it is that they decide to do. And they have made a lot of sacrifices to let other people be successful and help other people be successful and help organizations be successful. So I want to bring that out in this family here today. And as I said, we've got the whole family on, and we are, or I guess most of the family on. We are going to go to Laredo, Indiana, and we're going to talk with the Knott family and Knott's Landing Angus. And as I said, they have a sale coming up on March 1st, and that is going to be on Anguslive. It is live right now. If you're listening to this before the sale, it is live already here, and I've been checking it out and very excited about the lots. And we want to talk to the family. We've got Callie, we've got Rebecca, and we've got Rob on here on the phone, and so we're going to talk with them a little bit. And guys, want to welcome you to the podcast.
Thank you.
And excited to talk with you guys, and always good to see you guys at shows or whatever event it is that we're at. So, and as I said, a great hardworking family, and just I appreciate all the things that you guys do for the association.
We appreciate it.
Rebecca, Rob, let's start us off. How did this even get started? And you guys have some history. You guys have some roots in the cattle industry.
Yes, Andy. First of all, thank you for having us on. And that hard work stems from definitely our heritage from our parents. So we appreciate that. We met back in the mid-'80s, and fortunate we both were involved in 4-H and junior programs. Mm-hmm. So we were able to, as we got married in '89, we were able to work alongside our extended families, and then eventually work into creating our own small herd. One of our first cows that we had in our herd came from Maple Angus, mm-hmm. and Rob's going to share a little bit about that original cow.
Yeah, actually, the very first one come from Three Rivers Angus. Mm-hmm. It was a Gibbet Hill cow. But our family wasn't started then, so that I'm not quite sure what we ended up selling her. But then the Maple Lane cow came. She was she is actually a Bushwhacker Traveler 71. Mm-hmm. Maple Lane, forever made. Callie actually showed that one in down at the Beef Congress, mm-hmm. and then the actual cow. The Lot 3 heifer would be a granddaughter of the Forever Made cow.
The original, okay.
Yeah, and Andy, that was Katie actually showed that heifer, our first heifer, not Callie. But then Callie was able to show some offspring from mm-hmm. that cow.
Right. So you guys have deep roots. You guys both grew up in the cattle industry and the livestock industry, correct?
We actually met showing sheep, just so you know.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. I was hoping that we had a livestock. You guys met through livestock and all of that. So you met through the sheep industry. Well, tell us a little about that.
Well, it was one summer, and actually I'll bring this up. Jack and I were at a sheep show, and of course Jack did some judging, and he noticed this lamb that this young man was showing, and guess who it was? It was Rob Nunn. So then later that summer at the state fair, we kind of noticed each other, and it was history after that.
Well, that's great.
Well, I will say, pipe in and say this, that I was the better showman of the pair.
And Andy, that's why I don't show sheep, because they both show sheep differently.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's great. What kind of sheep were we showing? Just club lambs or breed sheep? Or?
Correct, yeah, club lambs.
Okay. Well,
And we were showing them things quite competitively. We were actually went out west and showed, and we were very competitive.
Uh-huh. Now, Rob, did you come into the cattle deal? Did you start with cattle, or was it sheep is what got you started?
When I first started in 4-H, we showed a lot of steers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And from the steers, we had a few heifers, and then in my later years in 4-H, we were mainly into the sheep,
Okay.
club lambs.
Okay.
And then that's when Rebecca and I met.
An Indiana State Fair matchmaking.
That's
Yeah.
one of the many, but it's always good to hear those stories about how that comes out. That's really neat. You guys got together. Rob, did you want to keep on with the sheep, and you had to listen to Rebecca, and she says, no, I think we better go to the cattle, or how did all that work out?
Well, we actually had about 22 ewes, 25 ewes, some right there, and we sold some club lambs. And then once the girls were born and one thing led to another, we ended up selling the ewes and then got into cattle.
Okay.
Yep.
It wasn't a big knockdown drag out. It was just, I think we better do this and change, huh?
Well, once the girls got into the sheep, just like Callie said, Becky had her way of showing, and I had my way of showing. And I guess before we got divorced, we better get rid of the sheep.
better get it figured out, huh?
Right.
I guess that's how that works out some. So before we get too far, we have Callie on here, but you guys have another daughter, Katie, that started out showing and doing some things, and then life took her a different direction.
Katie was involved the first 4 years of kind of the junior 4-H program, and like I said earlier, Rob and I were able to work alongside our extended ward family and staying in the Angus breed. And then, it took a different direction. She was offered an opportunity to go study dance in San Francisco. And so then she took on that avenue for a few years. And then fortunately, she decided to come back. And she is now a graphic designer at Vera Bradley. And she's married and has our 2 grandsons. And it's been exciting for us that not only to raise our girls in the Angus program, but Navy and Noble, our grandsons, we have their first heifers and cows that they now have in our program, and they come as every now and then, and we're lucky to have them here this weekend. They like to be in the barn and help with the cows. So
that's great.
She was involved early, and I guess that what we talk about a lot is how the junior program just gives you some good roots to start on. No matter what you do and whatever avenue you take, it is always a good base for a young kid. So, and we appreciate that we had the opportunity and they had the opportunity, and now our grandsons.
Yes, and speaking of the junior program, Callie, you've been involved in the junior program for a couple different associations. You started out a little more towards the Charolais Association, is that correct?
So I will commend my parents for that. They were the ones to kind of give me an extra push to get involved, and that started with the Charolais Association more at the junior national level when I participated in my own first fitting contest with a bunch of Nebraska Cornhuskers. And since then, I've made a lot of different relationships with people in different states, and the Charolais herd kind of grew on me, and so I decided to join the board there, and that was a great experience just with being able to work with several other juniors from different states and to be able to work with juniors in the Charolais. And after that, I participated in my own first Angus Junior Nationals, which was held in Indiana in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I was hooked with the Angus again, and from there, I began to evolve. And in 2018, I ran for Miss American Angus with a little bit more of a push from my parents, and I'm so thankful that they did, and I decided to stay involved with that, and I got to meet a lot of Angus breeders and Angus juniors and build a lot of relationships through that, and I cannot be thankful and grateful enough.
So let me get this timeline straight. 2014, your first Angus Junior Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And by 2018, you've done enough, you've worked hard enough, you've put a resume together enough to be Miss American Angus in 2018.
I served as the 50th Miss American Angus, and what was really cool is Sharon Summers from Indiana was the first Miss American Angus.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And it just shows what you guys do as a family and how hard you guys work and what you dive yourself into to be there in 4 years from your first Junior Nationals to 4 years later being Miss American Angus.
Mm-hmm.
Callie, tell us a little about what you got to do there for Miss American Angus and the things you got to see and where you got to go.
Yeah, so I will say when I was in the top 5 for the scholarship for the auxiliary, I wasn't sure if I wanted to run for Miss American Angus just because I wasn't the Indian Angus queen, and I was the Indian Angus junior princess, but that's all the royalty I had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually more than just being a Miss American Angus or a queen. You advocate for your breed, and that's what I learned so much about, even through the contest. The contest itself is amazing, where you have to do a speech and answer impromptu questions about the industry, go through an interview process, take a test about the American Angus history.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thrilled to be a part of that competition, and even thrilled to be chosen as Miss American Angus.
Right.
But during my reign, I went all the way to CAB for a seminar, to every regional and national show. I attended sales. I even went to a restaurant that served certified Angus beef,
mm-hmm.
and was able to talk with the owner of the restaurant about, how he decided to choose his meat, and talk to him about the specifications. From there, I went to different classrooms, to 4-H club meetings, and talked about not only the Angus breed, the business breed, but also about what 4-H and the agriculture industry has to offer.
Right.
So I tried to share my experience and educate that what great program this is, and what it's done for me, and what it can do for other people as well.
And Rebecca, as I mentioned a little earlier, show moms have enough stress the way it is when they're showing and they're doing those things. And here you have a, what was she, about that time, 16, 17, 18-year-old young lady?
17, I think she was 17, 18, yeah.
17, 18. So here you have the extra stress of helping get her where she needs to be and helping make sure things go the way they should. And I guess what is it like to be that show, and I guess you could call it the queen mother?
Well, like you said earlier, this program for us was a family event. So yes, my job a lot of times was to just brush and blow and pick pins and things like that. And so, but we all had our purpose in what we were doing, and that was the fun thing. But when this came along, obviously it's you had to say yes and give her the opportunity. So as a family, we just had to sort our duties, and Rob had to get some help from some great breeders out there that we had cattle from, and they were very helpful because yes, we did have to make a few quick changes. We had to make sure hose didn't have any holes in them when you were putting them on with your skirt and things like that. So we definitely had to do some quick changes as she would show her heifers and then back into the ring for pictures. But again, it's that family where people, you pick up, and not only our immediate family, but like I said, some breeders that we were able to show cattle for that year really helped us out in taking care of the heifers, having them ready, and helping Rob out as he was back at the stalls by himself. So,
Right.
No, it was definitely a great experience for all of us. And I'll tell you, the first show we went to was Louisville, and we ended up, by the end of the show, quick changing. I'm not sure if you all know this, but there's a little curtain right behind the announcer stand, and we ended up just changing right there. So you find little cubby holes to do what you got to do, and became a lot better at that quick change and those opportunities.
And Rob got better at taking care of the stalls and taking care of the cattle, and
He did.
Right. Yep.
He did.
Right.
Still doing that.
Yep.
right. Rob, you're very involved in the Indiana Angus Association. All of you are, but Rob, you've really came in and done quite a few things, and helping run the Indiana preview show as well, and so being involved. And so, what are some of those duties that you have in the Indiana Angus Association?
Well, I tell you, I've been involved, I'm guessing right around 10 years, but had a super mentors. The late Jack Sweeney used to run that preview show and invited me in to help him. And I tell you, that's one man that I really miss. He was a regular Indiana Angus legend.
Mm-hmm.
One person can't take the credit of the whole thing. I mean, I'm just one man that kind of orchestrates the thing, and super help from everybody else. And if I need something done, it's just to ask people, and they're very willing to step in and help out. And as far as the Adult Association has come a long way, and being a director and being involved there, and even the junior program. It's just very thankful of the association that we're involved in.
You guys do nice work with that, and I know a lot of families appreciate all the things that you guys do.
And I might add for 22 preview show that we are adding the PGS show
awesome.
To that. So that's going to be exciting for Indiana.
Great. And there's a lot of other things coming up for this 2022. So that's great. Yeah, I didn't realize that was happening. So
Yep.
very good addition to the national, in my opinion, and now getting down into the state. So Rob, or whoever's been elected, let's talk about this cow herd that you guys have. Of course, a lot of these that we get on here, the 4-H project goes rogue. You keep a couple heifers, you grow that heifer program, grow those cows, you bring those back. And tell us a little about your program. We've got some Charolais, we've got some Angus. What are some of your bases, and what are some of your goals with this cow herd?
We said before that the Maple Lane, the Forever Made cow, was kind of our foundation cow. And then from there, once Kelly really got going, we bought a cow from Doc Summers Angus, and she is the Summers DF Adventurous 198-151, but she's a 004 frontline cow. And that cow right there is one that Kelly showed and was very successful with that one. And then from there, that's where our online sale, we call it the family tradition, is that all of her offspring will be involved in this sale.
Oh, okay.
And we talked about the Charolais, and I'll tell you what, we were blessed to have some Charolais breeders step up and help us. I know the Eric Ott family was very influential with that, and we showed the national champion Charolais female there in 2012 and the North American, and we were able to get some offspring off of her, and we just kept growing that a little bit. And then once Callie got out of the junior program in the Charolais, we've been focusing ourselves mainly on the Angus herd. And right now our herd, we are between that 20 and 25 head mark, and since Callie's out, there are we were showing very, very heavily, and we've sold a few, and now that she's out, we are primarily trying to get genetics out there that we feel are exceptional in the standpoint of the show and the production. Because, we all know that, there's the performance side of the Angus thing as well as the show thing. And I think that the Ivf family can work both ways, and we've proved that it can. But anyway, that our embryo program will be ramping up, and we'll see that in the future.
So a small herd, but yet you guys focus on quality of these females, and you focus on the productivity of these females.
That's exactly right. And as far as production, they're in the cattle business. We all know that you want to get them bred, and then in 280 days, you want them to lay down and have their own calf and not have to worry about getting the chains and pullers. And that's something that we really strive at. We're all nervous on that when they start calving and you're watching, but when they sit one out and on their own, that's what it's all about.
Right. And you guys have sold some previously to different juniors and getting some of those genetics out there already, and you've had some steers that you've sold that have done pretty well.
That's exactly right, Andy. We are fortunate to have sold some females and some steers, in the middle part of the state, have gone and actually competed at the junior nationals and in the carcass contest, and we've had, are right up in there in the carcass contest. So we had a family in Tippecanoe County that had one at the Indiana State Fair and won that carcass contest. So it's very satisfying to see kids not only do well in the show side, but in the other parts of the carcass world.
Right, and be a well-rounded group or a well-rounded herd. You guys have also had some more success in the ring in heifers that you've shown, heifers that you've purchased, and really, really caused a storm here in the ring. And if you would, tell us about a few of those females that you've had that you've done very well with.
We've been starting with when we first came in with the Maple Lane Forever Maid, and I was still young then, but Katie showed that original cow, and from there she had some calves, and that was actually my first Angus heifer. And from there we flushed her, and we had an exact, WCC exact, and she ended up being grand champion at the Indiana State Fair, and she was a reserve bred and owned at junior nationals as well. And from there, that's when we decided to buy into Summers DF of interest. And I will say we bought her from the Dietzman Summers families, and the Summers have really served as mentors for me. I'll give them a quick shout out just with Doc Summers. He's my mentor in the veterinary world and a really good close mentor and friend of mine, and he gave me my first Littman stethoscope before vet school started.
Oh, that's great.
And Sharon, she was the first Miss American Angus, and she really shared a lot of Angus history with me, and we've just gotten close with them, and it's been fun to continue that friendship, especially with the Summers DF of interest cow. This is actually, there's 4 generations on our farm, and we've had success. The 3rd generation, the fall heifer I showed a couple years ago, or last year, she finished up, and she won the preview show and the open show, and she also stood her ground at the Cattlemen's Congress and American Royal and being reserve in her division. And from there, I think that's the proud moment, is the 4 generations. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Right.
Stemming from that original cow that I first bought. That was my very own first purchase to add to our herd. And talking about other successes, I mean, we've shown some cattle for the Cates family, and we won the Atlantic National with Lady Impression, Cece, And that's what the Free family is showing, the progeny from her right now. And we also showed some watch outs from them, and they won a reserve at the Hoosier Beef Congress. And I will give a shout out to our Charolais herd. We actually had the grand national champion Charolais female at the North American in 2012.
Awesome.
So we do have, we've enjoyed our successes, but it all starts with our hard work in the barn together as a family, and we've taken pride in how we all have our roles in the barn. And after each show, we figure out what we've done well and what we could work on, and go back home and continue to work on that and progress and go to the next show and do our best.
What a great way to go about that. And Callie, while I got you on here, I did fail to mention, and I apologize, you are in vet school at Purdue.
Yes. When I was first getting involved in the industry, I watched my sister and my cousins, show and be involved. And while they were doing that, I stood beside my Grandpa Ward, Rich Ward, and I really got my inspiration from him just with being right beside him and watching him interact with breeders and with cattle. And I wish I had more time with him on this earth, but he left us a little too soon. But from then on, I wanted to pursue a career in the agriculture industry. And, there was a few bumps in the road during undergrad and in high school, but I pushed on, and I knew what I wanted. Right. And I wasn't going to give up on that goal. And I knew in the end it would be worth it, and it would work out in the end, and God has a plan for me, and I am now in vet school.
That's awesome. And I'm sure with what I know about you guys and what I know about you, you're as driven as you are, vet school should be a challenging breeze.
Yeah. It's amazing how much information you may not think you know anything, but then by the end of the first semester, you don't realize how much you actually learned and all that's up in that brain.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You guys have had a lot of success and done a lot of things and breeding these and sold some of these cattle, and now you're going to have an online sale. You're going to have that online sale on Anguslive, and that is going to go off on Tuesday, March the 1st, and it's going to start doing the countdown on the bidding at 8 o'clock. And so why go to an online sale instead of trying to sell some of those things just right off the operation?
Well, I think, Andy, that as you've heard, we've been able and lucky enough to have some success with what we've raised as far as Callie showing in the show ring and in production, and even in the carcass situation there that's available. So we feel like we have some great genetics. We have a small amount, but we feel like we have some great genetics. And it just kind of came together that our Eventress cow put together a nice lineup for us here. And Callie talked about lot number 1 a little bit, coming from her heifer that she showed last year. And then lot number 2 would be from Eventress cow herself. And then lot number 3 stems from our original, it'd be a granddaughter of our original cow. Right. And then we have some embryos in lot 4 and 5 that offer through those same genetics. And then, of course, we couldn't leave out our, we have a little special place in our heart for the Charolais, and we have a really strong Charolais bull as lot 6. So I'll let Callie and Rob tell you a little bit more about their genetics, but we are super excited for people to come here. We are having an open house on Saturday, February 26th, and we will offer lunch served all afternoon starting at 11 until 5 o'clock, and offer good Amish cooking when you visit, and then view the cattle that we have, and then also get ready for that sale that you said, again, is on March 1st. But if you can't make it to the open house, for sure, just get a hold of us, because we've already welcomed some people in, and we can get things ready for people to view whenever is convenient for them. And then I just want to give a shout out. We talked a little bit about the cows that the heifers that Callie has showed for other breeders. We are super excited. We are expecting here anytime in the next few months some offspring from those genetics. So hopefully we'll be able to put another offering together in the fall. Right. So I'll let Rob and Callie talk about the specific genetics that we're offering in our lots.
Sure. Guys, let's just start off with this lot one. We've got she's an August female, and you guys just break into her. This is a good one.
So lot one, this is actually our 4th generation heifer, stemming from the Summers DF Adventurous. That's the original. But lot one, she's an August, and she's a legit out of cow is actually a Conley Lookout bull, and on the bottom side of that cow is an Insight. So she's been one that we've been really grateful to work on because she has such a good personality, very docile. She's out of the fall heifer that I showed a couple years ago. That one was one of my favorites. She was a bred and owned, and she finished off my junior career, and it's just kind of cool to see her go into production and be a good, easygoing cow out in the pasture now. And that's what, when we put this sale together, I realized that lot one's a 4th generation here on our farm. So she's really been a fun one to work with, and my nephews, they really enjoy working with, good personalities and these calves.
Yeah, and she's a good one. Yeah, if you're listening and you haven't seen the podcast video, be sure to go check out that podcast video. We're going to have the pictures and videos of these on there, and this young lady took a very nice picture and a very nice video for her, and I'm sure it comes from her being good first. Go check her out on there. Rob, anything else on the lot one?
Well, I'll tell you, this is one that I've watched grow all summer, and when you look at this one, I mean, she just has that show ring look, so extended in her front end. The one thing that at Knots Landing, if you know our cattle, was one thing is structure and movement. It has been our number one thing that we try to breed for, and her soundness is just impeccable. To have one that stout-boned, I tell you, she really got that from her mother, because that's the way she is, really stout-boned, long-bodied. Just a really nice heifer that for any age showman, I tell you, this is one that will compete in the show ring, and then years down the road will be able to make some money for some young junior.
Yeah, and being in August, she's kind of on that smaller end now. For one of those juniors, maybe somebody's really wanting to get their young person in, and she might just be the right fit for that.
We sure think so.
Tell us about the lot two.
So lot two, she is a September heifer, and so this is actually embryo calf that was born, and she stems from the original Summers DF Adventurous cow, and out of PVF Insight. So this, going back to our generation, she's out of our original, but our second generation is an Insight Summers DF Adventurous. So we also kind of skipping down to our embryos that we're offering, but this lot 2 would be a full sib to what those lot 4 embryos would be.
Okay.
And she is a full sister to our bred and owned that was one Reno, the bred and owned show.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So she's already got purple in the blood, right?
Well, I just want to chime in here just a little bit. As far as this heifer right here, I know the lot 1 kind of has a special place in our heart, but as far as knowing what this genetic portion of this heifer can do, she has unbelievable amount of future into this cow. And when you look at this one, she's square made, has that spring rib, I mean, just has that whole shape that everybody's looking for. And then when you start at the ground, she definitely has that soundness factor all about her.
Yeah, check her out. Watching her video over and over here, and this is a very, very impressive female.
We're very fortunate. Took a super good picture and video, but this is one that when you look at her in person, that I can't put a favorite in all of them, but this one here ranks right up with one.
She's the full sister to the heifer that won Reno.
We took a couple heifers out to the Western Regional Show there in Reno, Nevada, and the PVF Insight, a full sister that I showed, she ended up winning the Brenham Show for us. Yeah. So we were very thankful and fortunate for that.
Good.
She did well throughout the whole year. Like, she won the open show at the Indiana State Fair. She was reserve Angus at Beef Congress. But probably the highlight of the full sister to Lot 2 was our grand champion bred known in Reno.
And probably one of the most memorable trips, right?
That was a long trip.
I've been out there to that one. That's a neat show, and a long trip as well. So the Lot 3 we've got a February.
Like I said before, she belongs to our grandson Navy. He's just starting to get into the junior thing, and it's something that we feel that we get him started young, and hopefully we can make a little money and pad his bank account just a little bit. And as far as the Lot 3, she's a legit, and we've had good success with using the legit, come from the Kate's Farm bull battery. And as far as the dam of that heifer comes from our foundation donors, actually, the old Forever Made coming from the Maple Lane farm. But as far as this heifer here, she may not have the show ring look, but I tell you that she doesn't have that flashy, big, long neck everybody wants. But as far as a production female, this is one female that can work in anybody's herd. I mean, she's sound, square, has that length of body, the muscle to go behind it. And I tell you, the production in that family is something that I would definitely encourage everybody to look at, the Lot 3.
And you mentioned she may not have that show ring look. This female, very, very good. And I think she's going to be one of those diverse females that you can go several different ways with and find somebody maybe, and I'm not throwing rocks at her, but maybe find somebody, like you say, if you need that long, pretty neck, find somebody that does that, and this heifer can roll right on.
And you made a good point there. This is a female that can be bred in any different ways. I mean, you could put some, if you want to do that Sim Angus thing, she's definitely one that can be the foundation female for that breed.
Just keep right on going, and good luck to the grandson on this one, and get him some of that. Get him some of that bank account in there.
That's right. That's right.
We've got another live lot down there at the very end, but we've got a couple embryo lots here in the Lot 4.
Going to Lot 2, that Lot 2 is the full sibs to what these embryos would be. And these are just conventional PVF Insight out of the original Summers Adventurous cow. And so that's when I showed the full sister to these, when I showed her, I will say Mom had a pretty good eye for that one because, Dad and I kind of shied away from her, wasn't sure, and Mom said, we're showing her, and look at all the success she had, and she was right about that one. So that's the thing about, Lot 2. She's definitely one that I think just looks really good in person. I mean, she took a good video, took a good picture, but just in person, that Springer rib that she has and just the soundness that goes along with it. The Lot 4 embryos, we've sold quite a few, and the people that have bought them have actually had really good luck about their recips taking them. So those are Lot 4. I guess can go into Lot 5 is we have some IVF embryos to offer. Out of it'd be actually the second gen. She's an Insight Summers DF Adventurous. She's a full sib to Lot 4 embryos as well, but we're actually going to be flushing her to Conley Express and offering those IVF to anybody that buys Lot 5.
And there's been a lot of success right there in that family as well.
She's the one that Mom had the good eye for, and she ended up winning Reno, the Grand Bred owned, and won the Indiana State Fair Open Show and reserve Angus female at Hoosier Beef Congress. So this is this is the female we're talking about for lot 5 and the IVF Conley Express embryos we're offering.
If you scroll through the pictures there on Anguslive, we've got a picture of female at the preview in 2001.
That would be mother of lot 1.
Okay.
When Callie finished her junior career there in the summer at the National Junior Show, we were fortunate to have a young family from down in the Haggardstown area, and we put her in her name and the Dorsler family, and she took her and they did super well with that cow, and was able to show her into that Supreme deal at the 2021 Indiana preview show.
So the reason she's on there is that, she's the daughter of the KAK Adventurous 154.
Ah, okay. Right.
Yep,
that's what I was after. See why she was on there.
and the one in that preview picture, she's a Conley J6 lookout, and these embryos will be Conley Express. So those Conley bulls have been really working on this cow family, so why not go and pursue that with some IVF Conley Express?
If it isn't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And then we go to a little bit different color here, and we've got a bull lot down here in the lot 6.
This lot 6, he's been around all summer, and it's just hard to not let this one go. Everybody says, I'm not sure how you guys can be in the Charolais thing and showing them, trying to keep them clean. But when you work on these Charolais, this guy here he's just will make a super addition to, not even if you don't have a Charolais herd. I mean, this is one you could cross up on some Angus cows and be very successful with. Maybe not in the show ring, but as far as a feedlot quality thing, I think he would work in that area very well.
Okay.
The Charolais held a special place in our hearts. I mean, that was the first, junior national I actually ever went to. Even before Angus. So that was my first junior national, was the Charolais Nationals in Kansas City, Missouri. And just from there, we have one Charolais cow, and that's all we have. And so this is the cow that he is out of is a Firewater Rio Bravo daughter, and she would be a full sib to the 2012 national champion female that I showed at North American. So that's his dam is a full sib to that national champion female, and he's out of a TR Rhinestone, and he has really good personality. One that actually my nephew Navy, he wants to name all of our calves, even the Angus heifers, Char Bull. So he's definitely a barn favorite in Navy's eyes, but we sold a Charolais bull a few years back to the Witter family at the Kentucky Beef Expo, and I will say I do love showing those Charolais bulls. And so this is just one we just wanted to offer. He needs to be out there in the Charolais world because I think he has a lot of pieces to offer and anybody's herd.
Right. Absolutely agree. Yeah, he's a good one. Yeah, check out his video. Go to Anguslive or check it out on the podcast video and look at this one because he is very, very nice. Very good. Guys, anything else about these sale cattle or the embryos or anything like that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, I tell you, we would sure appreciate you, anybody wanting to stop out and take a look at our cattle here. Not only the lots in the sale, but we would sure like to take you around and show you the cows that we have here, just to show you what we've got going on. And we're very thankful. We talked about, we showed other cattle for other people and those farms. We want to talk about, Greg McClure family. They're at FCF in Illinois has been super good to work with, and we very much appreciate that family. And, when we first got started, back at the BC2, the Cunningham family, we're very, very fortunate to have a good showman in our family, and they seen that, and we were able to show their cattle and with great success. There at the Hoosier Beef Congress, we won with that Sandy cow, and we're going to have some offspring out of her this spring.
Right.
And hopefully we were able to offer those this fall. And same goes with the Cates family. Tyler and Courtney have been very good to Callie and to our family, and We've showed those cattle with some great success. And again, we're going to have some offspring out of them cattle too for sale this fall. So our hats off to all those families that have helped us. And that's what we want to do with the families in the future. It's just to offer some good genetics, good cattle, and any advice that we can give them.
Right. Give back to the program that has meant so much to you guys.
That's right.
You guys do such a great job. So, again, on Anguslive, the sale is going to go off on March 1st. It's going to start the extra bidding there at 8 o'clock. You guys do, again, have the open house. You want to invite everybody to the open house on February 26th?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else we need to know, guys, before we wrap this one up?
Now, we sure appreciate what you do, and thanks for inviting us on here and to spread our word.
Oh, I sure appreciate it. Appreciate you guys talking about this, getting it put together. And, Callie, man, want to wish you luck. And Callie, you talked about that heifer at Beef Congress. We got to interview and have an interview there with you at Beef Congress for Walton Webcasting. So I'll have to see if I can find a picture of that somewhere, and we'll have to throw that up on the podcast video. So it's been a year or two ago.
Oh, yeah.
So, Rebecca, appreciate it very much. Rob, appreciate it. And again, guys, March 1st, Anguslive, go check it out. Check out the 4 very, very high-quality live lots and then also the embryo lots, and get with Rob and those guys. They can get it put together on how to get connected with all of those. And again, appreciate it. Appreciate the Knott family, Knott's Landing, up there at Leato, Indiana. And we appreciate you listening to another edition of Before the Bid podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Before the Bid. For more information and to learn more about upcoming podcasts and sales, visit us at beforethebid.podbean.com or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram pages. For information on being a guest on Before the Bid, please email us at beforethebid@gmail.com or one of our social media pages. Remember, that's beforethebid@gmail.com. Happy sales to you, and we will talk to you next time on Before the Bid.